tonight. Um, hmm. I've been wanting to come on here and talk to y'all for a minute, but I've just been so wrapped up in life and, just have not. So, I want to update y'all a little bit. Um, I was in a relationship and it was basically everything I wanted, right? It was a whirlwind romance. And everything happened very quickly. We were talking about marriage, we were talking about family, starting family, and all of that. And without going too much into detail, because you don't need to know all of my business, but I basically allowed my feelings and the things that I wanted, and want to act as a more of a priority than having that spiritual foundation, putting God first, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. So I thought I was safe from stuff like this. I've been on this walk for a while now, and I know a lot. I've learned a lot, and I thought I had all my T's crossed and I's dotted. I thought that when that someone was gonna finally show up, I would know how to act. I would know how to go about the whole situation. Keeping God first, sticking to my boundaries, not be manipulated. I thought that my faith and just my walk in general was at its peak, let's say. And boy, did I learn that it was not. This relationship was under 2 months, and it was something that had me thinking I met my man, my person, my husband, right? Yeah, I did. I very much thought that. Family, even today, who I have not informed about the breakup, was even asking, are we gonna meet your man today? What man? I have to laugh. I mean, at this point, I'm feeling a lot better anyway, so I can laugh. But I'm not above anything, and I am not. I'm not as impenetrable. I might have said that wrong, but my mind and my heart and just my overall desires for what I want can definitely be penetrated and manipulated when it's someone that I fancy, someone that is showing me all the things that I want, saying all the things that I like to hear, and is easy on the eye. I definitely put some of the things that I just definitely didn't use the discernment that I should have used. I used some for sure, And because I was praying the whole time, just because I was praying the whole time doesn't mean I was listening the whole time. And that's where I feel where I really went wrong. Um, I didn't spend enough time isolated, and that is something that I will do in my next situation, relationship, whatever we want to call it. Um, this person wanted to be with me all the time, every day, every night, whatever, and I was on board. Like it's been a while since I have felt this kind of connection, this kind of love, this kind of intentionality, and I was on board. I was like, okay, this is what we doing. Um, this person, agreed to wait for sex, until we got married. And so I think that part really sped things up for us because it felt like, oh wow, like it's hard to find men, that I think are, suitable for me, that are willing to wait. And so it felt great. Honestly, it felt like finally, thank you, God, all of that. And things, and the things with us just started to progress. And ultimately, this person was not willing to wait and thought he could manipulate me. Thought that with enough gifts or time and attraction, I guess, that I would bend on that. And that was just something that I was not willing to bend on. And is that discouraging? Yes, it's very discouraging. As a 37-year-old woman that looks forward to being married and having kids, absolutely, because everybody wants sex, men want sex, women want sex, and choosing to wait, not being a virgin, obviously, for sex is being a Christian. Let's just say that being a Christian woman in general is a challenge, right? But being one that is requiring a wait for sex until marriage to do things the way God intended them to be, whew, you can go from feeling hopeless to feeling like, God, seriously? Like, for real, you really called me to do this? And it's gonna be this hard now, now that I'm, in the dating world and stuff, like, you gonna make it this hard for your girl? Like, and I'm only getting older, and my yearning for a family only gets stronger. And this person that I was with also, he definitely played a lot on those things, because, never desperate, but I have no problem articulating the things that I want and what I look forward to, so yeah, so I don't want to talk too much about this person, but what I do want to talk about is the importance of waiting. I feel like I've gotten another crash course on why it's so important to wait, why it's so important to stick to boundaries, why it's so important to pay attention, pay more attention to what people are showing you, their words, ask more questions. And trust me, I ask a lot of questions. I've even been told that I've made people feel like they're on an interview, a job interview. That's how many questions I tend to ask. But I think there were certain things that I just closed my ears to. I had selective hearing, as my mom would say, when it came to this relationship, because it had so many of the things that I wanted. And I knew that we weren't spiritually aligned, but I thought that the spiritual aspect was at least there, so I could work with it. But actually, I can work with the other things. The spiritual part is very important, the most important. When you're on a walk with God, when you are seeking to live righteously, when you are, you're just serious. Like, I'm serious, and this person didn't understand just how serious I was. I'll choose loneliness and rough nights and feeling like there's a void on Thanksgiving because we were supposed to be together. I choose that over being in a misaligned relationship when I know God has better for me. What that better is, how it looks, I don't know. But I know that God doesn't want me to compromise myself or my morals and values or boundaries just to be in a relationship, So, so what did I say I want to talk about? Oh, the importance of waiting. I actually want to talk about this in September, and it's now the end of November. I had a customer. We were talking about some things, and he said something like, you being a nun isn't going to get you blessings faster, something along those lines. Calling me a nun because I'm not having sex. And I was like, I'm not trying to be a nun to just receive blessings. And he's like, well, what are you doing it for? And my response to him was going to be a video because I just did not feel like giving him too much, right? So basically, I'm not on this walk to receive blessings. Blessings are great, and I feel like I receive blessings every day, but I'm on this walk because this is what God called me to do. This is tied into my purpose, right? Not only that, it's what God calls us all to do, He gave me a little bit more of a clear indication that this is what He wanted me to do, but this is what He calls us all to do. We just tend not to do it, and He will still bless your marriage and your relationship. But, sexual sin fogs everything up, it messes with us in a way that a lot of other sins don't, right? And sexual sin, I feel leads to the most conviction as well. I hate that feeling of being convicted. I hate that convicted feeling whenever I've, engaged in any sexual activities since he has, called me to be on this walk, it's the worst feeling. It feels like just climbing up a like never ending hill, because it's like better, and you let your flesh take over. And in times when my flesh has tried to take over, I usually pray. I usually reach out to a friend to help me, in these times, or even just, go to the word. But then the times that I have given in to whatever it definitely takes a toll on me and just my overall spirit, Um, for obvious reasons, pregnancy outside of marriage, STDs, all of that. Is those are the reasons, but I truly believe it allows you to see a person for who they are, when you're not having sex with them, because having that intimacy, that sexual intimacy with a person before you're married, it definitely you have a shield, like some blinders on a bit, because the sex can even, sex is a great thing. Sex feels great. I can't wait to have it again. So when you are being sexually active with someone that you like, you're not able to see everything. You're not able to discern as clearly. And yes, your decision making overall is not where it could be, And I'm a person that likes to operate at 100%. I like to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. I like to eat the best foods, drink a lot of water, eat a hearty meal full of protein and veggies. Like, things that I do, I like to get the most out of it. And I like to be at 100%. And when you are engaging in sexual sin, you're not at 100%. You are, you're essentially putting your flesh and the person that you're engaging with, you're putting them before God in those moments. You're saying, God, I know this is a sin. I know that you are not happy with this. I know that you want me to flee, but I need this right now. Or I want him to like me. Or I just need to get this off. Whatever your verbiage is. Excuse me. That's what you're essentially doing. And in relationships, the people that we're with, can become idols to us. Friendships and relationships, And you don't always see that until you're out of it. You don't realize just how much of an idol you've made this person, because you're just in this love bubble. And I love nothing more than being in a love bubble, okay? I love a love bubble, but the sad thing about it is when that bubble it pops. And I am in the remnants of that right now, but I'm doing a lot better. And this situation has only actually brought me closer to God. It's had me lean into him more, into my word more, into my prayer life. And even talking about this situation, I feel is healing me a bit, because I don't really want to talk about this. I'll talk about this with one or two friends, usually. Well, this hasn't happened, but I would just kind of on to the next, but this one is kind of stopped me in my tracks a bit, and for a second had me feeling like I don't know about love, I don't know about marriage, I'm cool, feeling all of those hopelessness kind of feelings. And I do believe that talking about it and just getting support from my friends and my family and my therapist has been just amazing. And it's only added to why I believe waiting is that much more important, because we're not even supposed to know how good sex is, how great it feels before marriage, but we all know that, for the most part. I don't know any virgins that are, you know, above the age of 20, so we all, know what it is, know what it feels like. And I do get asked the question, what if the person you're with isn't good? And I'm like, God wouldn't have that for me, and I truly believe that. I truly do believe that. But we're not even supposed to know, because we're supposed to have, we should have waited, all of us. Anywho, before I get all scatterbrained, when it comes to waiting, it's not about being a nun. And I'm going to make sure I send him this video because I don't have a long drawn out explanation or anything, but he definitely inspired me to even want to talk about this. It's not about being a nun and waiting for blessings, whatever they may be. It's truly just sacrificing, myself, putting my flesh, pushing it down as much as possible. My flesh wants to, my flesh, wants to eat crab legs and watermelon and cake all day. That's not what my flesh needs. So it's truly knowing that our flesh goes against us all the time, right? Our flesh, like I said, wants sex, wants intimacy sooner than we should have it. Our flesh wants to sometimes drink, sometimes do drugs, eat crazy, like I said, drink crazy. Our flesh, I have the word, it's not coming to me. Our flesh is always kind of rebelling against us, right? And it's up to us to exercise this discipline, with God. Sometimes the discipline is just calling on God. God, I'm feeling fleshy right now. I need you. And in those moments, he usually provides a distraction, usually a distraction of some sort, or leads me to read something, in his word. But I know I'm all over the place. It is past midnight, so it's technically Black Friday. I think I just wanted to get on here and talk. Maybe my next video will be a little bit more structured. I just need to get back in a habit of coming on here, consistently to talk about just my journey. I do have some exciting things coming up, so there's a lot to be grateful for. I have my family, my mom as well. My mom is doing well. My dad, my stepdad, stepmom, like nieces, everybody is, thriving. Aunts, uncles. So there is a lot to be grateful for, and the things that I do have coming up. But today, definitely have to breathe. Take some really deep breaths. Because I am ready. I am ready for a healthy relationship, someone that has good intentions, that is spiritually aligned, um, that's already at a point, you know. I've given in a lot to men that weren't as spiritually aligned just because I'm like, okay, well, they know the Bible, they know this, but are they on this walk? Usually no. And I realize if they're not on that walk, all it's going to do is get me off my walk. And that's the last thing that I want. That's the last thing that I can deal with. It's a non-negotiable at this point. Height is a negotiable. Let me not even go there. I'm not about to name negotiables because there are a lot of them, but your spiritual alignment, is the biggest one. And I had plenty of signs in this last situation, but I thought that maybe I was put into his life to bring him closer to the Lord. I did. And silly me, you know, but where are the saved men? You know, where are the men? And this is not a this is not a PSA or anything, you know, to have somebody, you know, say, "Oh, I'm here." Anyways, it's not that, but I'm just simply stating, like, where are the saved men that are on a similar journey, that aren't trying to manipulate women, that's very serious about their walk, that can lead, you know, a Christian household, that looks at this as a daily thing. This isn't just something you do when you're feeling low, or you're, you know, trying to hit, you know, trying to get some kind of money or job or whatever. But this is, you truly have given your life to the Lord. You believe in Jesus Christ. You believe what he's done, and not that you just believe that he's done it, but you truly believe in him, and all that is in your life, all that's coming up in your life, the way that God uses every situation, you know, for your good, for his good, you know. And that's another reason why I'm also feeling pretty good, is because I know that God is already using this situation for his good, and it's only strengthened me and made me wiser, and it showed me that, you know, if I can give this kind of love, and if I can give this kind of love to the wrong person, imagine what I will give to the right person, you know. And that just makes me so happy for my future husband. So happy, because I am truly a ball, you know. I am very fun and funny, both fun and funny. And that's just surface, you know. So I do look forward to the future. Not right now. I am still, you know, in my process, but none of us are above falling short. And not that I felt I was above it, I just thought that I was so strong, right? I thought I was so strong. And I'm weak sometimes. You know, my discernment is not at its peak, and it never will be. I'll just continue to, you know, grow it. But I can't wait to put into practice these things, right? But yeah, I don't want to make this video too long, but um, get in the comments and try to hold me accountable to at least put a video out twice a week, maybe, anybody that's, feeling the Christian struggle of waiting, of feeling so ready to meet your person, feeling so ready to bask in all that God has for you. You're not alone. You're not alone. And God sees you, and God is with you. And this is the time to lean more into Him. Get closer. Pray. Pray, trust, obey. Or is it trust, pray, obey? Either way. Pray, trust, and obey. And, don't be shy to seek wise counsel. We don't know it all, and we never will. We're going to always be students. And so don't feel like you can't, seek out certain, wise counsel, be it therapist, church elders, prayer warriors, your grandma who you don't think, knows much or has a real education, but she may really know the Lord. That's one thing I'm grateful for. I have both of my grandmas are praying women, and I feel their prayers all the time. One is gone, but one is still here, and she's amazing. But yeah, so that's why I've been gone. Well, that's one reason, actually. That actually had not a lot to do with it, but that's what's been going on. So I will have another video out to maybe hone in on one particular subject. But until then, if you can't stay strong, just stay prayed up. That's not that's not an outro or anything, but you're not going to be strong all the time. So at the bare minimum, ask God for help. And, we have the Holy Spirit here to comfort us, to lead us in these times. So use the resources that God has provided. He is the source. So lean not into your own understanding. Don't let your thoughts eat you alive. Don't let your lack of accomplishments, lack of joy or happiness at a certain moment, put distance between you and God. So that's all.